So I'm not going to go too terribly long on this. There have been some YouTubers lately who have been bringing fan films into the conversation the past few days, the past few weeks, and I get it. There is frustration in fandom. And so there have been a couple of YouTube channels that have brought up, drama, fan film drama from about 10 years ago, and I think in an attempt to sensationalize that drama, to cash in on that frustration, cash in on clicks, and there's been some misinformation that's been put out. My name is Josh Irwin, and I've been producing the Avalon Universe fan films for the past 8 years, and that's the channel that you're on now. And you can look around our channel and find a dozen or so Star Trek fan films that we've been making since 2018. People have been drawn to fan films lately, I think, because we like to tell stories in a very classical way. We like to do it for the love of Star Trek, and people appreciate that, and I'm grateful for that. That's something that is literally never going to change about what we do. About a decade ago, the IP holder put out a series of Star Trek fan film guidelines for fan filmmakers. There were a lot of productions that did have to discontinue at that time. I'll get into that here in a second. I'm not bringing religion into this, I'm just citing this as an example. Jesus once summarized the 10 Commandments as love God and love your neighbor. And it's kind of like that with the Star Trek fan film guidelines. When they initially talked about this, they said, hey, we thought we just had to tell people don't be a commercial project, don't make money off of this. And that's really what it comes down to is don't make a profit and be genuinely fan-made. And I think that, I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody who was making projects back then, but it can be reasonably argued that some of the projects that were made back then did sort of go outside the scope of what might be considered actually a fan film, having real Star Trek actors involved, having Star Trek alumni behind the camera, having a big budget. One thing that they were very clear about when they instituted these guidelines in the one interview that was given about it was that the IP holder of Star Trek was not trying to curtail the creativity of fan film producers. They wanted us to be creative. What they were trying to do was stop it from, like I said, going outside the scope of being genuinely fan-made and doing it just for the love of Star Trek. And so that's what we have today, is we have a very beautiful community that's really blossomed into something special, I think in part because of the guidelines. There really isn't an arms race today to make the biggest, best fan film. And over the past 8 to 10 years of people making Star Trek fan films, Paramount's been really hands-off. Fan film producers, we really, really love the relationship that we have with Paramount, which is none at all. You see a lot of fan film producers today who help each other out on their other projects. We all bring our different talents to the table and try to make everyone else's fan film better. We share everybody else's project, and we encourage our fellow fan filmmakers. We're all friends, we commiserate online. Fan films are just an extension of the many other ways that people have celebrated their fandom. Ever since the 60s and the early 70s, people have done cosplay, they've made their own costumes, they've gone to conventions, they've started up fan clubs and had local chapters that were even kind of done in the mold of being their own starship and their own crew. And I follow a person online who creates really beautiful Star Trek paintings. And so for me, this is my artistic way of expressing my fandom, which is to create these fan films. Fan films are alive and well. Like I said, there are a dozen of them on this channel that you can look at, but there are all kinds of other channels you can go to and find that content. A whole host of other projects that you can look across YouTube and find. It's just people like you and me celebrating their fandom. I'm never going to be able to compete with anybody. I'm just a guy who makes TV commercials for a living in Rogers, Arkansas. But we do live in this beautiful day and age where filmmaking has become a little bit more democratized. You can get a camera, you can get some equipment, you got some friends, you got some costumes. Go look up No Budget Productions and my friend Vance Major. That's the person who inspired me to make fan films. Vance never let anything stop him. He never let a budget, He never let having the right costume or the location or even having a set stop him from making a fan film. He just went out and did it, and that's what inspired me to do it. Now, some people like what we're doing, some people don't like what we're doing. Hey, look, we're not $1 million studio quality productions. We're normal people. But the one thing that we can say is that we are trying to tell stories in a classical way. We're trying to create something that everybody hopefully can enjoy. We're so grateful to everyone who has supported us, who has watched our films and our projects over the past 8 years, and we are looking forward to creating more content for you made by fans for fans.